Honourable Senators, I propose the question that the Senate adopts the report of the Select Committee on Delegated Legislation on its consideration of the Affordable Housing Regulations, legal notice number 114 of 2025, laid on the table of the Senate on Wednesday, 24th September 2025, and that pursuant to Section 59(4) of the Affordable Housing Act 2024, the Senate resolves to approve the Affordable Housing Regulations, legal notice number 114 of 2025. Senator Khalwale.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this is a rare opportunity that Parliament will be speaking on the issue of housing. And it's unfortunate that colleagues are too committed in their offices at the moment. We want to talk about housing because on social media, in the print media, main and alternative, in social joints, people are talking about housing. Why? Because people are contributing towards financing this project. How I wish more of us would be here to participate. And I hope that this discussion goes beyond today so that colleagues can share with the rest of us what their thoughts are. And I want to start, Madam Speaker, by confirming that I support the report. And I want to recall that under the new constitution, 2013 to 2017, when Mwai Kibaki was president, what defined his presidency, Madam Speaker, sorry, I'm getting wrong. From the time of the old dictatorship, when Mwai Kibaki took over in 2002, what defined President Mwai Kibaki's presidency were just two things. He succeeded, Madam Speaker, in rolling out free primary education. It was a huge success. It was a masterpiece, and we shall never forget Kibaki for that gift to the generation of young Kenyans who benefited. Two, President Mwai Kibaki was able to practice as much as possible zero tolerance to corruption, enough for the country to be proud of, to be a working nation, and it resulted into our economy achieving an unprecedented growth of 7.2%. Madam Speaker, we shall remember Kibaki. And thanks for this, we were able actually to build the Thika superhighway. Out moved Kibaki, in came Uhuru, and Uhuru, despite the confusion that was around the Jubilee government and all the noise, Uhuru built the standard gauge rail line and went on and built the express highway here in Nairobi, Madam Speaker, plus the other roads that he touched here and there. In comes President Ruto. To me, it is starting to look like what will define President Ruto will be the success of the housing project. And therefore, Parliament, if we want successive governments to succeed, we should help. We smoothen. We file the rough edges of this housing project so that it succeeds. Madam Speaker, I am not persuaded that absorption of the funds that are recovered from Kenyans and meant to construct housing is poor to the extent that those funds, we hear, without serious confirmation, that they are now being invested in treasury bonds. It means we are overtaxing Kenyans. We should just have taxed them enough for us to be able to absorb. It is an opportunity that we should now speak to so that we move from the 1.5 to something lower, so that the money which is taxed from Kenyans, it leaves them comfortable and it ends up being absorbed 100%. Who knows, honorable colleagues, whoever will come after President Ruto might find a slush fund in the monies that will have been saved because of failure to absorb, and then that money is just taken to another project altogether or abused by a president who, after succeeding President Ruto, be it in 2027 or 2032, who will not be sharing his vision on housing. It is something that must concern us. Madam Speaker, it's important that maybe through an amendment of the Act or through these regulations, we should now be clearer on who benefits from these houses. I'm starting to see a red light. You saw when our athletes did very well at, was it called Chan? The championship where we did very well. You saw all of a sudden, they received a gift of houses. Is this the way we want to do it? That money contributed by Kenyans and then is used to give out houses as gifts? If that is the case, how will the people of the ones who vote for you in Mathare, yes, how are they assured that they will deserve a gift? It should not be a question of gifts. It should be a question of deserving. What's more, I saw, dear colleagues, 10,000 teachers at State House, and the issue of housing was on the table. Is that the way we want to do it? Let's think about it. We help the government, we help the president by giving him enabling legislation that will save him from the urge to have that discretion. Madam Speaker, with due respect, we want houses to be fast-tracked. But we want to do it better. Where you are born, not where you come from. You know that in Bushiangala village, a primary school teacher, if you give him one of the flats in Kakamega, that primary school teacher will say, thank you very much, but he will never stay in that house. Instead, he's going to rent it out, which is a good thing. But was that the objective of affordable housing? Was the objective of affordable housing to be given to successful football players? Was it? Can you convince Kenyans at Nyayo Stadium, at Kasarani, that continue contributing part of your salary so that at some time, when a Kenya does something extraordinary, he's gifted? That's not how governments are run. No. And, Madam Speaker, we have an adult responsibility in this country to say these things. Because if we don't get it right, the country becomes unstable. We all remember when we were insensitive to the voices of the Holoi Poloi on the infamous finance bill of 2024. We almost got killed here on the 25th of June. So let us be sensitive to what the public is saying. I never agree with Wamunyoro, and I find it very difficult to agree with him because of his tribalistic mindedness. But the one thing that I think Munyoro gets right is that listen to the people. We must listen to the people. I saw, Madam Speaker, a survey which I have reason to believe that it is credible. And Kenyans were being asked, do you impress or don't you impress broad-based government? A whooping 70, what? Somebody remember? A whooping 78 said no. 68% said no. That is too high. in any scientific research. So if Kenyans are saying they don't want broad-based government, they are saying, let us respect to the constitution. The people in the opposition, Idiot Sifuna, Beatrice, you leave our committees to chair our committees, you go back and play your role as elected leaders on the opposition. That is what that Tifa poll was saying. Madam Speaker.
What's your point about the senator's
Don't quarrel me.
Senator Cherargei, please.